Okay, so we had the Six Nations this weekend. Huge game between Italy and just kidding. Huge game between France and Wales.
Yeah,
that's the one. Let's chat about that because we've got Wales now who are on a 5-game winning streak, albeit 2 of them against Italy. They've beaten 14-man Ireland. They beat a 14-man Scotland. They had 14 points awarded.
They had 16 men against England.
16 men against, I like that. 16 men against England, but 14 points. We still beat them by 16. Are Wales an improved version of what we compared to what we saw in last year's Six Nations? I'm not convinced they are.
No, I wouldn't say they are. I mean, I think they've had a good season. Obviously, the ball has bounced their way, if you want to put it that way. And I mean, ultimately, you have to win. You have to sort of live with your wins and losses. It's a scoreboard that counts. They've won those games, so they're in the pound seats and look like they're going to obviously clinch the championship. But like Mark said earlier on, I think the worst thing that can come out of this is that Wales will now have to sort of continue to go forward with Wayne Pivac for a bit longer. And I'm not sure whether that's in the best interests of that team.
Look, I mean, in fairness to Pivac, Gatlin first year wasn't prolific for Wales.
Yeah, look, it took Gatland a while to kind of build Wales to where they were, but I think the quality of player that Pivac inherited was, after 10 years with Gatland, was he really came into a strong base, but he was immediate about he needs to change the way they play. I think that's an inferiority complex. Like, take what the other guys done well and just kind of add to it, and players were going to take time to adapt to, but everything has gone for him this year. And he's played no Southern Hemisphere teams either. So and when you get two quick starts against Italy, and they were gifted those 2 games with the 14 men, and they struggled to actually close those games out. So, and I just think France should beat them at home. Again, won't be a big score, and I'm not overly convinced yet with this French side. They're there and thereabouts, but they should have beaten England. They had all the form going into that game. They haven't played for 4 weeks. There's this whole defense about what a great side England is. England's been poor. They've been poor for 2 seasons. They haven't really recovered since we humiliated them in that World Cup final. And I don't think they will recover.
Talking about how Pivac wanted to change the way they play, it's pretty ironic. It's almost Harry Fillion-esque that they are the team that have made the fewest carries on average per game in the Six Nations. So he wanted to spread the ball and play it wide and more expansive rugby. They're the team that makes the fewest carries. I think between 1 and 10 players, 1 to 10, Wales are averaging less than 1 line break a game. So this is not a team that's playing expansive rugby to win these games. And I think that's the secret to why France is so good. Flock Soliers is over there now. They've really embraced the kicking game with Flock there. And I think that they're starting to reap the benefits of that, playing less rugby, and I mean the results sort of talk to that.
Yeah, and having a very good defensive structure with Sean Edwards as well, and Galtie's a good coach.
Yeah.
So I think they've certainly got their coaching set up right. They've got some very, very talented youngsters, but talented youngsters sometimes their best year is their first year, and by year 2 or year 3, people have found out a weakness in the guy's play.
Right.
So, look, it's the strongest French team I've seen in a decade, maybe 2 decades.
That doesn't say much, does it?
No, because they've been poor, but it's the most consistent in their selections, the most disciplined I've seen them in terms of defence. But if you look, they had the advantage in Twickenham, like they did with that young team in that 8 Nations, and they didn't close the game out, and England got it at the 75th minute. Everyone's still raving that they will be favourites at home. That French side has never played well under pressure and expectation at home, regardless of who's been in that team. I just thought it was a game that they had to go to Twickenham, make a decisive statement to say we are the team in Europe at the moment. And while I think they will win on this weekend against Wales, they'll battle to beat Scotland. Scotland's a side that's always troubled them somehow. Trouble them up front, trouble them at the ruck, makes them very disjointed in the way they play.
Well, I mean, Scotland want to play off that sort of broken play, loose ball. If they can suck you into that game, a team like France, if they can get them out of their kicking game, then it's wide open, like you say. Scotland can easily push them on that game.
Yeah, in that crappy little island, there's a game going on as well. Ireland against England.
Ireland against England, always a classic. Always a, they probably hate the English more than the Welsh do.
Yeah, Battle of the Farrells.
Yeah.
Owen Farrell
Yeah.
trying to prove that he should be there, and his dad trying to prove he should be coaching Ireland. Which Farrell's going to be the better off at the end of the day?
Correct.
A draw would be a great result. Both of them could be shipped out.
Where's the game in Dublin?
It's in Dublin, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Viva Stadium.
I can't see England losing this game.
CJ's send-off, his Six Nations
Oh, it's a
send-off.
very emotional day. I've got Ireland to win. Ireland to win by 6.
No, I got England to win by 9.
Yeah, look, I'll back Ireland there. And with all the leprechauns outside the stadium, a great way to end what would have been a week of celebration with St. Patrick's Day. And
Well, we've got to celebrate these things.
and
because
backing France to win.
You're backing France to win.
France to beat
Wales.
Wales and Ireland to beat England.
Yeah, I mean, I think France are going to win.
I'll take England there. I'll take England over Ireland, but I'm with you on the France one.
Thanks. Thanks, guys.
No, it's not really I'll remember that one, but England are going to beat Ireland, and Wales will lose to France. But I'm going to bet on that because every time I bet on Wales this year, they win. But every time I bet against them, they win. So I'm going to,
You're going to continue to bet against them.
of course. If I could pay a couple $1,000 for a Wales victory, I'd do it every time.
All right.
Except against.
And you know the rules there. You've always got to back whoever's playing England, regardless.
Yeah.